Malaysia's Bandai Card Fest happened last weekend and Singapore's Card Fest happened last month. In this video, I'll be sharing and discussing the top 16 leader breakdown and results from each event respectively. I'll only be sharing the deck list for the champion and runner-up from each event. If you're interested in the deck list for other top 16 decks, you can try searching them over on my Twitter page. I'll be analysing both events together, as well as using the Season 2 Championship Qualifier results in the OP06 format that took place last month to have a rough look at how the metagame has been like since the release of OP06. So what happened in Malaysia last weekend? There were a total of 349 players, 8 rounds of Swiss and a top 16 cut. As for Singapore, there were 499 players, 9 rounds of Swiss and top 16 cut. There were streams for both events, but unfortunately the VOD disappeared, so I'll see if we can retrieve it somehow and get them to re-upload it onto their page. Next, I'll be breaking down the leaders from top 16, top 8, top 4 and finals for each event. Anyway, here's the breakdown of the top 16 leaders in Malaysia. We have 6 Gecko Moria, 3 Sakazuki, 3 Katakuri, 2 Perona, 1 Nami and 1 Black Yellow Luffy. If you look really closely, you'll notice that 1/3 of the deck here are black leaders. This will be even more glaring when we get to the top 8. This is the breakdown for Singapore's top 16 leaders. We have 7 Gecko Moria, 3 Reiju, 3 Katakuri, 2 Enel and 1 Sakazuki. A thing to take note for Singapore's event was Starter Deck 13 was not legal for this tournament. And here's a quick summary of all the top 16 decks from the Season 2 Championship Qualifier in OP06 format. If I were to make a summarized chart of all the top 16 events that took place, it will look something like this. Gecko Moria taking up 35 out of 96 spot in the top 16 spots. That's almost 40%. This is almost similar to when Whitebeard was running rampant, or during the OP05 format where the majority of the top 16 decks went to Whitebeard and Sakazuki respectively. Over here, behind Gecko Moria, following closely to one another, we have Sakazuki and Katakuri being the top 3 most played decks in top 16. So if you're in the OP05 format and you're preparing for the OP06 meta, you can never go wrong with playing either black or yellow decks. Moving on, here's a breakdown for the Malaysia's top 8 all the way till finals. This is the meme that I came up with after the event. Only the black decks from the event made it to top 8. All 3 Katakuri and that single Nami were wiped out, and Sakazuki ended up winning the whole event with Perona placing second. Sakazuki has a great matchup against Perona, so the results was quite expected. Here's the deck list for both winners. We have the runner-up Perona. As a Perona main, I find the inclusion of Brooks to be very interesting. Next, we have the champions list Sakazuki. And this is the breakdown for Singapore's top 8 all the way to the finals. What's interesting about Singapore's top 8, similar to Malaysia, is we don't have any yellow decks either, but we have 2 Reiju and 1 ended up taking the whole thing. Here's the deck list for the runner-up Sakazuki, and here's the champions list. I find the Queen tech to be really interesting, and Gion is also a good card to have as a 2k counter, just in case you go up against Nami, which is gaining popularity here in Asia. Now here's a comparison for the top 8 decks from both events. With EBO1 coming next week, let's have a look at what decks did well in Asia's Championship Qualifier for the OP06 format. We have the Miyagi, Tokyo, Indonesia and Fukuoka Championships, and in case you're wondering, Starter Deck 13 was not legal for any of these events. Again, in the OP06 format, Gecko Moria seems to be highly represented, but its conversion rate is not as high as compared to Yamato. I'll be sharing the deck list for the champion from each event. Whitebeard is still very viable, especially the Rush variant, which supposedly have a good matchup against Sakazuki. That Zoro is an outlier as it has a really bad matchup against the top 2 decks of this format, Sakazuki and Gecko Moria. You can check out my video on my take on the OP06 Metagame tier list. Link is in the description. So here's the deck list for the Miyagi Championship. This one is for the Tokyo Championship. I couldn't find the Indonesia one, so we'll skip that for now. And this is the Fukuoka Championship list. To summarize the OP06 format, if you want to do well, you can never go wrong with black and yellow decks. Black decks like Luffy, Gecko Moria, Perona and Sakazuki, And if you want to play yellow decks, we have decks like Katakuri, Enel, Yamato, Luffy again, and even red yellow Sabo. So all these decks that I mentioned does really well in this format. If you are looking to play something that is not black, yellow, or you want to play something that's off meta in the OP06 format, I would suggest decks like Reiju, Whitebeard, Green Uta, Green Kid, and even Nami. So this weekend I'll be streaming Japan's regionals, which will be held in Osaka, where all the top 32 players from each event from the Season 2 Championship qualifiers in Japan fight it out to get a spot in the World Championship, which is happening in March. So we can expect to see some top level plays, familiar faces this weekend. Hopefully we get to see some OP07 reveals as well. Link for the stream will be in the description and I'll tweet about it before going live. This Friday, EBO1 full list will also be revealed and I'll be streaming the box review on all the cards and maybe do some day 1 deck profile, and also maybe talk about some of the reveals and news for the Bandai TCG announcement that is happening on the same day. If you've enjoyed this video and found this helpful, drop a like and please subscribe to the channel, leave a comment and let me know what you think of the video. Also follow me on Twitter for more One Piece TCG content, and as always, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.